Dude, I need to shave. Oh my god. Welcome to the final Hello Neighbor Reborn pre-release devlog. As I mentioned a few times, this is the final devlog before the first release. And I have some very exciting news for you all at the end of the video, so stay tuned. In my opinion, this devlog probably has the most interesting stuff to talk about, so let's first start off with the biggest thing. The trap system has finally been added, mostly based off the trap system from the pre-alpha. Every trap from the pre-alpha has been brought back. Cameras, bear traps, and even bucket traps. They honestly don't do that much, but they do exist. Bear traps work like you would expect them to. They spawn in places you pass through the most often, and they can be triggered by throwing items at them, or can alternatively be used to trap the neighbor for a short period of time. The camera system follows the one from the pre-alpha more closely. Rather than having cameras spam constantly, they spawn a lot less frequently and won't always remain. Now, this was a prominent thing in the pre-alpha that never returned for any other version, but if a trap is there one time, it might not be there the next time. Traps do spawn more often the more you go through an area. Walk through this hallway too often? Great. Now the neighbor can stack up furniture to slow you down. Furniture stacking, only featured in the pre-alpha, again, has been brought back and approved upon, preventing stuff like this from happening. If you use any entrance to the house too much, he'll start to make it harder for you to enter in that way. If you go through the front door too much, he'll block it with a chair, or put a camera up right outside. The back window doesn't have glass in it now, giving you an easy entry point. However, if you use it too much, he'll put the glass in. And if you continue to use it by breaking the glass and climbing in, he'll board it up. Boards can be taken down though using the hammer or crowbar if you happen to have them. You also might remember last time I said the neighbor couldn't break down doors. Well, now he can. Mainly he'll break down the front door if you lock him outside, but he can also break down other doors as well. The neighbor has had a lot of changes as well, mainly to his idle tasks. The neighbor can now eat sitting on the couch as well as his bed and the kitchen table. He can now inspect many paintings all over the house instead of just this one. He can now sit in armchairs and random chairs around his house, which all mainly happen to be in the bedroom, as well as the couch and the chair in the boiler room like before. He can now sleep in armchairs in addition to the bed and the sofa. He picks up a toolbox now before going to work on his car, so now he's actually reaching into something instead of just playing charades. And last but not least, he can sit down and listen to some sweet tunes using the stereo system, which can also be used as a distraction. Speaking of which, the stereo system can also be moved to block doors if you use them too often, as well as the table here in the hallway. I was actually debating mentioning these because I figured it'd be a nice surprise when you play the game, but I might as well mention it since that's kind of the whole point of these videos. The neighbor can also once again slip on banana peels just like you could in Alpha 1. I bet some of you didn't even know that was a thing you could do. Huh. Unlike Alpha 1 though, where it was pretty broken to say the least, here it actually works like you'd expect it to. Banana peels are one-time use and will cause the neighbor to slip for a few seconds. But if you use them against him too many times, he might start avoiding them. Bananas can also be eaten to turn into banana peels. And just in case you aren't paying attention, you can also slip on banana peels as well. The neighbor's car can also be used as a distraction, just as shown off in the Devgam animation. This has actually been in the game since I added hearing, but I originally wanted to keep it a secret. But again, I might as well bring it up here for those who keep suggesting that I add it. Fun fact, I actually used the exact car alarm sound effect from the Devgam animation. Surprise, surprise, it was a stock sound effect I found on SoundSnap. You'll also notice the neighbor didn't close the front door behind him when he ran outside. This is intentional. In the pre-alpha, if you threw a tomato at the window, the neighbor would go outside and clean it. But he leaves the front door open, which I think is a leftover from the prototype since that was also seen in the trailer. But now if he runs outside to clean a tomato or to turn off the car alarm, he leaves the front door wide open, allowing you a seemingly easy entry. The blacklight and the code have both been added back. I'm not gonna lie, the code is the exact same as in the pre-alpha. And it's going to remain like that for now. Also, the blacklight system is the first thing I actually had to buy on Unreal Marketplace, so please smash like so I can make back the now $5 that I spent to make this game. That's a joke, by the way. It did cost me $5, but that's a joke. The blacklight also spawns in random locations, which doesn't really matter all too much right now. Also, the key, lockpick, hammer, and crowbar have all been given more spawn locations. The neighbor can also hear when you make progress on the basement door, once again, just like you could in the pre-alpha, so good luck with that. Also, before anyone asks, yes, I did experiment with the neighbor hearing thrown objects. As of now, I'm not going to implement it though, because in its current state, it's just kind of buggy, but that doesn't mean I won't add it back later. One of the biggest changes with the neighbor's AI is with hunt mode. Now he actually checks hiding spots. He can check wardrobes and under the bed. Speaking of beds, beds are now interactable, allowing you to hide under the neighbor's bed and sleep in your own to progress the time cycle and reset the neighbor. The neighbor now follows you a lot closer to your house before losing you. Although unlike the pre-alpha, he can't go inside your house and will immediately go back into idle if you make it inside. He also switches between speed walking and running in hunt mode, something you probably didn't even know he did in the actual game. Again, because it was only in the pre-alpha. Jesus, the pre-alpha had so much stuff that was specific to it. The neighbor also switches back into idle after hunting you for a certain amount of time. This was something he could do before, but it's been improved upon. Before, the amount of time he spent searching for you was a flat 60 seconds. Now, it's dynamic, and changes depending on how many times he's been put in a hunt mode. He also loses you a lot quicker if he doesn't see you enter a hiding spot. As you can tell, this devlog was packed full of new AI features, as well as some other general ones. There are some other small things, like the foliage being redone to be a lot less thick and way less system intensive, lights having a more yellow tint to them, as well as some changes with item positions and stuff, but those aren't really interesting enough to talk about. So that's basically everything I wanted to bring up. That being said, there has been a lot added since the last devlog. A lot of pretty cool stuff in my opinion. I always found the trap system in the pre-alpha interesting, so I hope you found that as interesting as I did. Anything else I didn't mention is for you to discover while you play. Now, for that news I was talking about. In 3 days from now, on November 24th, a teaser trailer for the game will drop, featuring the release date for the first public build, which I am officially calling the pre-alpha. 1 for theming, and 2 because generally it is just a pre-alpha to showcase what features the game has and what it will become later down the line. With that being said, you will all be able to experience the game for yourself very shortly. Then, following that, I will take a break from development for a little bit, save for patches if there are any game-breaking bugs or anything like that. Mainly I'm taking time away because I have a lot of in-real-life stuff going on, and I'm going out of state in a few weeks, and the Hidden Spirits update dropped recently, so you know what that means. But eventually I will begin working on it again. For the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this trilogy of devlogs, seeing my development journey, and I hope you enjoy the game when it finally becomes playable. That's all I have for you, and I hope you have a good day or night. Also, hey, real quick, like, this isn't even part of the video, like, this isn't in the script or anything, but I do want to say that a version of the game has been packaged a couple of days ago, actually, mainly just to, like, playtest it. It's actually kind of outdated. I mainly just packaged it because I wanted to get a feel for the numbers, like, with the trap system and stuff like that, to see if I need to make any tweaks. My lovely girlfriend, K2 Crafty, playtested it. She's never played a Hello Neighbor game before, so it was pretty funny watching her play because she had no idea what the hell she was doing. She did eventually beat it, and it works great. But I will be happy to tell you that a packaged version of the game does in fact exist. I'm not going to do like any major playtesting for now until the like later versions come out. Even then, I might just keep it to just like friends and stuff like that. Maybe I'll put out playtester applications, but I'll worry about that down the line. Anyway, I will see you on the 24th. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.